everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. Sarah, would you please call the roll?
Mercedes Evans.
Here.
Thomas Fink.
Here.
Michelle Forbes.
Here.
Jennifer Hoover.
Here.
Tim Jackson.
Here.
Luisa Lesoa. Emily Smith.
Here.
And Estelle Livelsberger is absent.
Thank you very much. Moving on to our first period of public comment. If you wish to offer public comment, please come to the microphone, state your first and last name, your address, and please keep your comments limited to 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is David Cordier, and I'm, what do you want to know too? I'm sorry. We're at my address? 239 Haldeman Avenue in New Cumberland, but I do have interest here in Camp Hill Borough. So I'm here tonight first I want to say two things, okay? First, I want to compliment everyone here on the great project that you did last summer with the sidewalks. And I hope you're getting lots of kudos about that, because it was absolutely tremendous, and for property owners along that section, it's really been a good investment. And I do want to also say that I think the people that own property along there were treated very fairly by the borough, and it made it very easy for us to be able to pay for our portion of the sidewalks. So I just want to let you know that. So I do appreciate that, and it was really great. It is really great. The other thing I just want to note, and we'll keep this to 5 minutes, I hope. 3 minutes. Oop, better hurry. Forget the other comment. Okay, so I'm here. Thank you for reminding. It used to be 5, right? Okay, 20 years ago. So anyway, on Saturday, July 5th, we're having an event in Camp Hill Borough at the United Methodist Church at the end of 22nd Street. It's called Alexis Gives Back, and many of you already received information about it, but I'm here because there's other people that I hope are listening besides you, and I just want to make that announcement. It's called Alexis Gives Back. It's in memory of my daughter who passed away 4 years ago from kidney disease, and that disease commenced when we lived in the borough here. The event's going to be, like I said, at the United Methodist Church. It's going to be outdoors. We're going to have live music. We're going to have Shay Quinn, who used to be the Sharks band and is now Shay Quinn of many, many bands. The one we're using is Shay Quinn's Love Gods. And that is, of course, rock and pop. And then we're also going to have Steve Rudolph, who's a well-known jazz pianist, who's going to have a vocalist who is Amy Banks, and they're going to be doing some jazz. They're also going to have a bassist and a drummer. It's going to be from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. outdoors, again, on the grounds, under a tent, with food trucks and all kinds of other things. So right now we're looking for, we're continuing to look for sponsors. We've been doing that since January, and that is going well. We're very pleased. We've got a lot of support already. We mailed a lot of letters, did some things on social media, and that it's going very well. Tickets are on sale now for individuals. The tickets are going to be $10 for an individual person, and they're also going to be for children ages 12 to 7 downwards. They're going to be $5, and any child 6 and under will be free. So we are looking to get a lot of people there. And while I was driving here, I actually started thinking of a couple of things that you guys might want to know about, like how many people are going to be there. We're hoping for 500, okay? It could be more, it could be less, but 500 seems to be probably realistic. It could be a little bit more. It also, the grounds of the church does not allow for alcohol, so there will be no alcohol, which I personally support. And there will also be no smoking, believe it or not. So, you know, people will be smoking. I don't know what we're going to do with them, but we'll do something. Throw a plastic bag over their head maybe or something. Nothing against smokers. So that is that. Just if you want to learn more about it, the benefit is to support, I should talk about that, support Camp Kidney. And Camp Kidney is a program of the Kidney Foundation of Central Pennsylvania. What Camp Kidney is it's a week-long kidney experience for children 6 to high school that are suffering from chronic kidney disease. So it's outdoors at a camp. It's up near Geisinger up there. And so it's outdoors, and this year they're expecting about 50 kids, campers, and it's campers and their friends. They can bring a friend along so that they can be comfortable. So it's not just, kids with kidney disease, but about 50 campers. They have a 1.5 ratio of volunteers and staff to each camper. So they have plenty of adults there. Of course, all background checks and all that stuff. It's all, good. And then they also have, they have RNs, a couple of RNs, and they have an MD who's also a doctor, physician, who's also there. And they do have on-site dialysis for kids that might need that. So they're well taken care of. It's a week-long experience for them to kind of live a normal week, at least at that point in their life. My daughter Alexis actually was a camper there and then was also a counselor afterwards. So that's why it's close to our family. Okay, where do you learn more about this stuff? That's my last comment. CampKidney.org is where you do that for the Camp Kidney experience. For the event, Facebook, just go to Facebook. There's an event page on there, and just put Alexis Gives Back on Facebook search, or even if you Google it, it's going to come up. So we've already have it established that much. So I'm really just here to let you folks know and let everybody know. We're going to start spreading the word now about it, because I think we're at the point where we have enough in order to be able to do that. And just thank you. If there's any questions, I can take them, or if we don't have time right now, it'd be great to get emails. There's emails. You can email me. That's who you got an email from, or whoever you would like that's involved with our project. So.
Thank you very much. We'll follow up individually with questions if we have
Okay,
them.
thanks a lot.
Thank you. Is there anyone else with public comment? Okay. Moving on to President's announcements, just a quick note to say that we had convened in executive session prior to this meeting just to discuss a personnel issue. Next, manager's report. Sarah?
I have a brief report. The Bee City USA Committee has scheduled a community garden tour at properties in and near the borough on June 1st. It's a Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. The Bee City volunteers will be stationed at the Borough Clock Tower Pollinator Garden right outside the doors to provide information about the garden hosts and instructions for the tour. The committee has enough gardeners for the tour, but anyone interested in helping with planning or coordinating the event should contact me. The committee members and volunteers will also begin refreshing the pollinator garden for this season on April 26th. So if you are looking for a reason to get your hands dirty, come out on April 26th at 9 a.m. All are welcome. We have a continuing implementation of our online credit card payment system. We are now allowing people to renew their compost cards and, in addition, their tennis passes through the borough website without having to come into the office. As we successfully implement each step of the system, we will incorporate other fees for services onto the website. Residents are taking advantage of the online payment opportunity with more than 80 compost cards renewed online so far, which is 80 people that did not have to come into the borough office. So that's good news. Cumberland County Municipal Advisory Board, March 31st, Tom and Michelle and I participated in the county's Municipal Advisory Board meeting. Municipal leaders from around the county shared information about projects in their community. The commissioners provided updates on the county budget and strategic plan, the America 250th PA Committee, and the P25 radio project. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Sarah. Moving on to the manager's report. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant mayor. Mayor's report.
Thank you. The police department report is in your packet. They ran 741 calls for service in March. That brings the yearly call total to 2,082. And we continue to vet potential officer candidates to fill the vacancies that we have. Fire department in March ran 36 calls, spent 64 man-hours on those calls, and we are currently undertaking fire dynamics training. One thing I want to point out on the special activity or incidents of special interest for the police, during March, we had a rash of, or continue to have issues with thefts, multiple reports of thefts from unlocked vehicles. So I just want to remind everybody to make sure that your vehicles are locked and there's nothing of value left in them. So most of the time it is unlocked vehicles that people are getting into. That's my report.
Thank you, Mayor. Moving on to our engineers report. Mike?
Thank you. I have several items to report this month and a few requested actions. First up, under drainage projects, we're preparing with Sarah an application to the CFA, Commonwealth Financing Authority's Small Water and Sewer Program for drainage improvements in Harvard Avenue. This would be from about 2907 Harvard, extending then east a block and a half to Deanhurst. There's kind of an existing flooding situation there, and we would propose to add a second culvert. The pipe that's in the road isn't in bad shape, so we wouldn't replace it. We'd add a second one to it. We'd like to pursue the CFA funding to do that. The total project cost is about $760,000. CFA will cover a maximum of $500,000. So one of the requested actions for tonight is a resolution to apply for that CFA grant. Next up, the 2025 curb ramp improvements project is proceeding. At the time I wrote the report, we didn't have the designs for our sub. As of today, we do. So we are all set to go out to bid tomorrow. That'll be out to bid for just under a month, just in time to get our bids in front of the Public Works Committee and then council at their May meeting. So we'll be back in May with some bids to request your consideration on those. The Market Street Streetscape project, you may have seen York Excavating, our contractor, was back in town last week to do some of the punch list items and complete those. They've done a pretty good job of checking those off. We don't yet have their final paperwork, or at least we didn't at the time the report went out. So we're not requesting final pavement or closeout of that contract tonight, but probably will in May. Next up, have some updates on two land development projects. The first one is 510 South 31st Street, the Teamsters Garage. That plan was approved in May of 2024, and under the municipality's planning code, the applicant has a period of 1 year to satisfy the conditions of approval. That 1 year will expire before the next May meeting, just the way it lays out on the calendar. So they've requested a 30-day extension to satisfy those conditions. We have most of the materials in, actually just got them last Thursday and are reviewing them. The big one is the right-of-way abandonment for South 31st Street. That doesn't have to be recorded in order to record the land development plan. In fact, the land development plan has to be recorded first. So we expect that by the time we get to next month, all of those will be resolved. But we would request an action for tonight, or actually the applicant requests the action for tonight to approve a 30-day extension. And then last up, also a land development or subdivision project is 725 Vista Drive, which I think we have representatives here for tonight. We've had some comments back and forth. And at this point, all of our technical comments are satisfied. There are a few administrative items to get through, like posting the financial security and those sorts of things, but the technical comments are addressed. There's one modification request with that plan, which would be to waive the preliminary plan and proceed directly to preliminary final. We don't really have any objections to that. The plan that we got is detailed enough. It's a final plan, so we don't have any issues there. So we would request a motion on that or an action on that tonight. And then also consideration of a motion or an action to approve the subdivision plan itself, or I guess a conditional approval of the subdivision plan itself until those administrative comments are satisfied. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mike. That moves us to our consent agenda. Is there a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Second.
Mercedes moves. Emily seconds. All in favor? Thank you. The consent agenda is approved. That brings us to our reports of committees and liaisons, beginning with Public Safety. Tim?
Yep, so the Public Safety Committee met on Thursday, March 27th at 4:30. And there were some continuing topics last month. I'd say most notably the Country Club Hills traffic update. So Camp Hill Police Department will continue to re-engage with enforcement in the area, if not already. HRG is also in the process or have placed traffic counting equipment, I believe, on April the 2nd to gather data. The committee will reconvene in May and look for those updates based on that study. Secondarily, taking another look at Market and 31st and the intersection, there were a couple options presented, just in terms of extending the left-hand turning lane and adding crosswalk lining. The committee did agree to advance this measure for future council consideration. Importantly, these changes would be funded by money that's already in the budget for some previous development planning that would not impact any of the current funds for the budget. So we would not be expending any additional funds for that work. And lastly, just as a continuing element based on public input, we continue to take a look at the Hoover Elementary School safety plan. There's a few items that the committee had brought up for consideration. The first is no parking ordinance, which HRG, Public Works, and the solicitor are working through. Next is the crosswalk painting, which is the responsibility of PA Water at 24th and Dickinson, just upgrading so it can be more visible to pedestrian traffic. And then lastly, just the update that we had in terms of the speed study around Hoover. The study was completed just to assess whether speeding was occurring, and it was measured at an average of 17 miles an hour. So there was no enforceable action at this time. That's my report. Thanks.
Thank you, Tim. Moving on to Public Works, Louisa.
Okay. Public Works Committee met on April 1st. We have several action items for you. First, we have to proclaim Arbor Day, so that will be April 25th. Will be proclaimed Arbor Day. That's to maintain our Tree City USA recognition, so that's a routine item we do every year. Then we have two items for Municipid. We have received bids of $87 for the generator and $2,250 for the mower. So one action item is to approve the sale, accept those bids. And the next action item is to advertise some new items on Municipid, 2 ferry zero-turn mowers, some plow parts, and some miscellaneous vehicle parts. And then, as Mike mentioned, we will ask you to adopt a resolution in support of our application to the Pennsylvania Small Water and Sewer Program for the Harvard Avenue Drainage Improvement Project. So other items discussed at Public Works were the survey of Seabird Park, which is almost completed. There is a small parcel that's in East Pennsboro, but it could be ours, and we are going to pursue steps to clarify whether it is indeed ours. Also, the crosswalk striping schedule. We routinely repaint existing crosswalks whenever roads get paved, so as part of the paving project. And also planning for paving projects include a review of all intersections that could potentially get new crosswalks. And in order to get a new crosswalk, an intersection has to have at least a stop sign or a signal. And we are planning, next year we're planning to redo 2 crosswalks, one on 29th and Market and one on 31st and Market. And the Chestnut Street crosswalks will tentatively be repaved when Chestnut Street gets microsurfacing in 2027. The never-ending story of compost grinding and disposal. 2 dumpsters for the new disposal area have been ordered, are currently under construction near Pittsburgh. And our public works staff is going to pick them up soon once they're finished. The Creek Road Pump Station, the project is underway. We're doing most of the work in-house. And the rest has already been mentioned. Okay, so that's all for Public Works. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to Community and Business Relations.
Okay. During our last meeting on March 18th, we discussed Frederickson Library, requesting that we pass the resolution for naming April 6th through the 12th as National Library Week. I noticed that Cumberland County Commissioner signed the resolution for the county recognizing this on April 2nd, and our committee recommends approving this as well. That'll be our action item. And the committee also discussed expanding the current communications strategy with Ms. Taylor to continue reaching out to residents. She's been working on an exciting social media strategy. And as always, we recommend that you sign up for the Borough Updates, monthly e-digest, to keep up to date on what's happening where you live or work. Our next meeting is held on this Tuesday, the 15th at 4 p.m., and you're all welcome to attend. That's my report.
Thank you, Michelle. Just noting that the agenda says April 7th through the 11th, but I noticed that the actual resolution does specify the 6th through the 12th. So just wanted to make that note. We'll make that minor revision when we get to that point. Moving on to Parks and Recreation.
Thanks. So a couple notes from the Recreation Department. Number one, pool passes are available online. We have sold quite a few, but there is plenty more to be sold for the summer. We've done pretty good at hiring all of our staff except for the Snack Shack. So if anyone wants any Snack Shack jobs, you have to be at least 16 years of age. Please apply. All of the camps and programs for spring and summer are available online to sign up for, except for Seabrook Park Day Camp, which is full. The Bunny Extravaganza is coming up on April 11th from 6 to 8 p.m. There are still some spots available at the time of this report. Also, this past month, Jennifer and I went to the PRPS awards banquet because Audrey was presenting all of the awards, and Campo got an award for the Green and Sustainable Park Award. Did I get that right? For the new, the updated Seabrook Park section with the path along Blackberry Spring Run down to the kayak launch ramp. So if you haven't been down there, it's now an award-winning section of the park. So I highly recommend that. We do have a couple action items on the agenda for tonight. The first one is to consider approval of a request for Frederickson Library to post temporary signs in the borough parks. It's included in the packet. This is pretty standard. It's for Library Week. Is it also for Library Week? I can't remember. But so it's for some book sale.
No, blueberries.
Book sale. Book sale?
It's probably book sale, right?
Yeah, okay, book sale.
Not the
Book sale.
blueberries yet?
No, book sale. Yeah, so post temporary signs about the book sale, so we all know about it. And then the second action item is to consider acceptance of a grant from the Harry and Nancy Priest Seabrook Park Fund. So we get this grant every year, but we have to take action to accept it. And we've been in conversations about what will be done with that money. In the past, it's been benches, picnic tables, swings, all sorts of stuff. It just has to be within Seabrook Park. So we're talking about it, and I am making my recommendations, and we will find out where it lands, Lester. So stay tuned. But yeah, so we're recommending accepting that grant. And I think that's my report.
Thank you, Emily. Moving on to planning and zoning. Tom?
Okay, you'll note in your packet that Colton has provided a monthly report on code enforcement. He responded to 138 calls and complaints, made 184 calls, did 3 large unit inspections, and issued 52 building, zoning, dumpster, stormwater, and shade tree permits. The rental inspection process is proceeding without problems. The Planning and Zoning Committee did then meet March 2025. We did not have Sarah, but it was a busy meeting with a lot of action items, which we'll be going over. First of all, a final look was made to the sump pump ordinance, which we're recommending for advertisement tonight. A copy of that ordinance is in your material, and we discussed ways to advertise the ordinance to realtors and community residents as well, so people know what's going on. And we agreed that the sump pump certification form needs to be signed by a certified plumber or home inspector, and this would be put into the certification form itself. Second of all, we talked about a proposed stop sign ordinance for Deanhurst and Columbia Avenues, which Safety mentioned already. We recommending approval of this ordinance, and take note that we take the recommendations of public safety and the school quite seriously. 2 other intersections are being looked at for additional stop signs that we believe will increase safety. 2 intersections at 19th and Athol and Dighton. Stop sign ordinances for these two areas will be forthcoming. Thirdly, we looked at and are supporting 2 O&M agreements that are in your packet for work proposed at 119 North 15th Street and 1999 Dighton Street. Both properties require a minor stormwater permit. We then reviewed the 725 Vista project that Mike talked about, which we're supporting. Terry Hess from Integrated Development Partners was there to explain the project. It's somewhat complicated with many encumbrances and easements. A schematic of the project was presented. The committee was very comfortable with the plan, and we're recommending it for approval to council. And both Mike Hess and Terry are here to answer any questions if council has any. Number 5, the committee now is actively working on the codification project with Sarah and Colton. I think 170 or so recommendations were made around inconsistencies, redundancies, unnecessary ordinances. We have an ordinance involving food handling, which we used to do at one time, but we don't do that anymore. And a recommendation was made to look at the bicycle registration ordinance, which apparently is not necessary any longer. So we're chipping away at making this thing more concise and without inconsistencies. And we're dividing the project into steps. So the committee is reviewing a section of the recommendations to be discussed at the next meeting, and we'll just chunk our way through it to be done by June 2025. Colton did mention that he still gets phone calls about chickens. And by way of clarification, hens are allowed if you have a half an acre or more. But if you don't have that much, you can't have them. And we're not incorporating consideration of that into the current project. It's a controversial idea that's been kicked around, and if necessary, we'll be looking at that in the future. But I think it opens the door to problems. but we're open to talk about it. Colton made his report. Again, the rental inspection project is proceeding and ahead of schedule, from what I heard. He also noted that the townhouse construction project on 19th Street is proceeding, and anybody that drives by can see that things are up. And
It's going quick.
yeah, I don't know how quickly it'll be ready, but yeah. Colton continues to work on sidewalk issues. We had a nice report about sidewalks done in the past. We appreciated that. He also reported that the owners of that Rite Aid building on Market and Bypass may be planning to do a subdivision-type project similar to what was done with the old CVS building, but that remains to be seen. And Colton also reminded us that it's time to start cutting your grass, as well as to remember to bring in your trash bins after trash day, which is apparently a problem that he has to deal with from time to time. And finally, note was made that the Community and Business Relations Committee discussed the letters that go out along with code violations. And they offered to facilitate the process by reviewing the templates in ways that make them more, I guess, less offensive and more understandable.
Yes.
So we'll see where that goes. Any questions from anyone?
Tom, when I read the sump pump ordinance, I thought it might have been self-certification, but you said it has to indicate signature by either a plumber or by,
Right, in the form itself, that's correct.
Not in the ordinance, it's in the form.
It's in the form.
okay,
yeah.
but it's a plumber, or I thought you said somebody else.
Home
Home
inspector.
inspector.
Yes, Colton?
So that ordinance indicates the buyer and seller have to sign off, but we formatted the form so that if the buyer and seller don't know what that is, we put in a section that says, then you get a certified plumber or home inspector.
So it can possibly
If the
self-certified.
buyer and seller are aware,
Okay.
then yes, they could just sign it, but if they
If they're unaware.
Okay, that's good clarification. Thank you.
And the cost, if they would have to get it certified by a plumber or home inspector, that would be at the cost of themselves being,
So like in the process, it's all in the process of selling a house, right? So when you sell the house and you have to, the idea of the sump pump ordinance is that this is a municipal inspection requirement. So, but instead of having Lester or Colton go out and inspect all of the sump pumps, the homeowners both agree and say, yes, ours is not connected where it shouldn't be. And then if they don't know anything about sump pumps, then they have to get someone who does to say that. Yeah, so if they're
Understood.
getting a home inspection, then it would be included in that it would be able to be certified
the cost of which would be by the
The
buyer.
seller.
by the buyer, or it could be either.
Negotiable.
Okay.
It's all
I'm just-
negotiable.
Okay,
It's all negotiable in a
Yes.
home sale.
okay, thank you. Thank you, I just wanted to get some clarity because it wasn't clear to me there. Okay, thank you.
Our next meeting will be Friday, April 25th at 8:15 a.m.
Thank you. Moving on then to administration and finance, Mercedes?
All right, I'll start with some good news. We got our annual audit results with no comments. That essentially means it was perfect. 2 years in a row, which is usually unheard of. So thank you to Jared, who's no longer with us. I mean, like here at the borough. He's still with us, just not a borough employee. Sorry, the panic. I also want to let you know we're still searching for a replacement for Jared for the finance director position. And I wanted to say thank you to the borough staff that has been holding down the fort. The finance director responsibilities have been absorbed by multiple people. And then also an outside consultant is helping with the accountancy piece of it. So just want to thank the staff that's helping with that. All right, so we have a couple of action items. One is to consider the approval of a settlement and release agreement with CA Hampton Estates Incorporated relating to the sewer service over billing at 3025 Market Street, and that's the Penn State Health Building. And that was caused by an undetected water line break going downstream of the meter. The recommended settlement is $30,000, which is similar to one that was done in the past for the same issue. The other thing is consider the appointment of Josh Hooper to the Sustainability Committee for a term to expire December 31st, 2026. Are there any questions? No? Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to our reports from liaisons, beginning with Tim on behalf of the Borough School District.
The only update that I have is the next joint meeting will occur on April 23rd at 6 p.m., which is a time change typically held at 7 p.m., so an hour early, at the administration building. Thanks.
Thank you. Estelle is unable to join us this evening. She's being inducted into the National Honor Society for good. Congratulations to Estelle. I'm sure it's well-deserved, but Sarah will provide Estelle's report on her behalf.
So Estelle sent me this report, and I'll just read her exact words. So if I say I, it's not me, it's Estelle, though it sounds more fun than what I'm doing. Her report, Four Diamonds Minithon captain applications were due in the past month, and interviews are currently happening through the 22nd. On March 31st, 20 German exchange students came to our school with the German-American exchange program. They leave on Friday, the 11th. The program Junior Cumberland Leadership had their graduation ceremony on the 4th after attending a full day monthly since November in this leadership program instead of a regular school day. It was focused around Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. Out of 35 students from several school districts, 7 were Camp Hill students, including Estelle, including me. We are in our final marking period, so that brings AP tests in early May for those who take advanced placement classes. Prom, wouldn't you love to go to prom? Prom is coming up on May 3rd, and the Class Council of 2026 had a fundraiser that took place yesterday, the 8th, at Chick-fil-A. Students that qualified for the National History Day state competition are headed to the University of Scranton on the 12th and 13th. We had 18 different students across 8 projects that qualified, and the Charlie Brown show was March 13th to 26th, and our students were getting interviewed on TV. And that's from Estelle.
Thank you, Sarah. Moving on to our Stormwater Authority.
Okay, the Stormwater Authority met yesterday, and most items were already reported by other people. I have one piece of bad news. We're trying to work on flood mitigation for the Braemar culvert situation, and we had submitted a BRIC grant application for this project, and unfortunately this grant program has been cut from the FEMA budget, so the money no longer exists. So we will have to look at other options how to deal with the situation. Mike, do you want to elaborate?
And unfortunately, I don't have any other knowledge than what you shared. We saw the press release and have reached out to PEMA, which is the Pennsylvania level, and they confirmed what we understood from the press release. So the program is gone at this point. The grant application is kind of dead in the water. We'll certainly keep our eyes open if it ever comes back.
Okay, that's my report.
Thank you. Maybe we can hope in another 4 years things will be better. Moving on to our Sustainability Committee, please.
Yes, I have 2 meetings to report on. We met March 13th and April 9th this morning, actually early this afternoon. The group continues to work on the implementation of the borough's Climate Action Plan. Attendee at the March meeting included Josh Hooper, who we're recommending to be placed on that committee later at this meeting. It was noted in the meeting that the large and largely unused fossil fuel burning gas stove in the borough's building has been sold, and has it been removed? Is it still there? It's gone. But a high-end electric stove remains, as well as a traditional stove? Or is it just the electric one? But it's fine. A little complicated to understand, but it works very well, yeah. Yeah, I have, but it's complicated. We had a continuing discussion about how to involve local businesses, including corporate building owners who rent, in looking at energy savings available through solar, et cetera. The problem is that if you own a building and you rent it and you pass the costs on, or the people themselves pay for the electricity, there's no incentive. And we're struggling with what to do with that. However, we are looking at ways to approach local businesses to, in a non-invasive way, make them aware of energy savings that are possible with various choices, solar, et cetera. Talk about negative feedback. We also got negative feedback from the PUC on the Community Choice Aggravation Program. That just came in. The administrative law judge for the PUC. Aggregation. What did I say?
You said aggravation.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that
that
yeah.
was a slip.
Aggregation, that was a slip, which I make. So the administrative law judge said no to this effort, but it was the opinion of the attorneys involved in the project that she was really a bit off base, that she didn't look at some of the law and some of the writing. So they intend to put together an objection to that and pass that on. That will take a lot of time. You never know where that's going to end up, but it might go through, but we're months and months away. It's not over, no. And they haven't, their side is not folded, so we'll see where that goes. It was noted that plans are proceeding for installing the solar panels, we talked about this, and replacing leaky windows in the Borough building. And in the context of all this money being pulled back, I can say that the more money, the grant is solid. We have that. We have a $50,000 interest grant, and then up to 200, we don't know what the amount will be, maybe 270,000, but we're proceeding with an RFP to go out to find out what the cost would be, but that money is there as well. So we're happy about that. And we're happy with, we got two projects, the solar panels and the window replacement, and we hope that Audrey doesn't have to wear a sweater in the winter in the future because she sits right beside a very leaky window. So we got to take care of her. We discussed Stormfest, which is coming up, and maybe we will have a little model where people can look at how they can save money in their residential properties. There's an active discussion of that going on. And we also talked about public education again. What do I want to say about this? As part of this discussion, we talked about gas lawnmowers and the advantages of electric mowers and electric blowers, et cetera. And we're hoping to make our residents aware of the benefit and cost savings of those items, less air pollution and noise pollution. And in addition, people talked about newer versions of hand mowers that you can use to cut your grass. They're very efficient, they're relatively inexpensive, and we kicked around the idea at Stormfest of maybe having a raffle where somebody could win one of those. So a lot of active ideas being talked about, isn't it? Yeah. And a couple of people on the committee use these hand mowers. Do you? Yeah. And the newer ones are easy to use, and they're fine. Yeah. Sarah's continuing to work on obtaining energy usage data for the borough. No update on that, but that'll be nice to look at some point. A new staff person has been hired for Sustainable PA, correct? Okay. And finally, it was noted that we have a scheduled date for another shredding event. It will occur Tuesday, June 24th, in that downtown market area like last year. Specific times haven't been spelled out, but it'll be like 2 to 5 or so, but we'll have that information available later on. It was very popular, and I think it brought people out to the market as well, so everybody was happy with the event. The next meeting of the Sustainability Committee is May 8 at 1 p.m. Any questions? And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Moving on to our Downtown Campbell Association report.
Thank you. I've got my handy-dandy downtown coordinator updates for April. I think the biggest update is that the Spring Fling is this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. All who are able, please attend. Don't look at the weather reports. It'll be fine. It wouldn't be Spring Fling if there wasn't a couple showers. That's part of it. Just think of it like weddings. It's good luck. So that's this Saturday. Please go and enjoy it. Also, Plein Air Art Walk is coming up on May 17th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Once again, the Downtown Camp Hill Association is providing a $1,000 scholarship to a Camp Hill High School art student as a part of the Plein Air Art Walk. This year, Conti Wealth Advisors is the proud sponsor of that award. There will also be a donation of $1,000 to the Canadensis program, as there has been in the past. And this year, we're excited to include a new feature to the Plein Air Day, a 5K Goddard Trail Walk led by Thrive Fit. This will coincide with a shoe drive and campaign to assist the Earl Besch program's initiatives. How fun is that? I love adding new things to these things. And I also learned from Beth recently that some children in town think that the little signs for the Goddard Trail are for Bigfoot. So
How awesome is that?
I'm on the hunt for Bigfoot now.
Yeah.
I mean, the signs are brown.
Keep your eyes open.
It's adorable. Now that I've heard that, I can't unhear it. Anyways, also, Beth, in all of her job things, she's also decided that she's going to host Let's Give Them Something to Talk About, PR and Marketing for New and Growing Businesses on April 10th. Tomorrow. I'm like, what day is today? Tomorrow from 6 to 7 p.m. in the Business and Career Center at the library as one of their library roundtables. And I think she's going to do more in the future as well, but just go tomorrow and let's give her something to talk about.
It's not too late to register.
It's not too late to register.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on my report, too.
Oh, okay, perfect. Sorry to steal your thunder.
It's okay.
Also, the Downtown Camp Hill Association has been talking with Representative Nate Davidson, who has expressed interest in supporting the economic development efforts in the downtown corridor, and they will be meeting with him and his team to see what can be done. And also, Beth just attended the Main Street America Conference, so we look forward to hearing more about what she learned while she was there. And Michelle already noted, sign up for the e-digest.
Yes.
It's filled with information. It's so good.
Yes.
That concludes my report.
Thank you, Emily. Michelle with the Frederickson Library Board.
Okay, so I will not mention again about give them something to talk about tomorrow that you can register for now.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great event over at the Business Center and then the Business and Career Center event. I won't mention that. But I will say again that the library has requested that we proclaim the week of, should I say the 6th through the 12th or the, okay, as National Library Week. Let's skip over the event tomorrow. And Friends of Frederickson is hosting their semi-annual book sale from Thursday, April 24th through Saturday, April 27th, which should be a great thing to also go to. That's my report on the library.
Thank you. And report from CapCog.
So I realized that I report on CapCog, but have never explained what it is since I've been the liaison, which has been a couple of years now, probably more than that. So CapCog is the Capital Region Council of Governments, which includes the boroughs, cities, and townships of Cumberland, Dauphin, Lebanon, Perry, and York counties. The meetings include presentations by organizations and businesses that are relevant to the members, and updates from counties, state legislation, public safety, appeals, and Act 45. It's an opportunity to learn what's happening in our communities and our neighbors. For instance, Heidi Shiver's Birdtown presentation in July of 2024 led to our borough forming Camp Hill Birdtown. So the takeaway that affects us from the last meeting on March 17th is that dog licenses can only be purchased in person at the county treasurer's office in Carlisle or online. And I believe you can still get them by mail, but you can't get them at your local municipalities any longer. And as a reminder, Pennsylvania State Dog Law, Chapter 21 of Title 7, requires all dogs 3 months and older to be properly licensed every calendar year in the county in which they reside, and that is my report.
Thank you, Michelle. That brings us to our second period of public comment. Is there anyone wishing to offer public comment? No? Okay, moving on. That brings us to our action items for the evening, beginning with item 11A. Is there a motion and a second to approve the proclamation of Arbor Day for Tree City USA recognition? Louisa moves, Mercedes seconds. And just for the good of the group, the resolution proclaims April 25th as Arbor Day. It urges all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands, and urges all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. Okay. All those in favor, is there any discussion first? I'm sorry, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? The motion to approve the proclamation passes unanimously. Next, is there a motion and a second to approve the sale of a generator for $87 and a mower for $2,250 on municipal? Louisa moves, Michelle seconds. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving the sale, please vote aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion to approve the sale passes unanimously. Next, is there a motion and a second to approve the advertisement of 2 Ferris zero-turn mowers, miscellaneous plow parts, and miscellaneous vehicle parts on municipal? Louisa moves, Michelle seconds. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion to approve the advertisement passes unanimously. Moving on, is there a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 2025-06 in support of an application to the Pennsylvania Small Water and Sewer Program grant for the Harvard Avenue Drainage Improvement Project? Louisa moves, Michelle seconds. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Next, is there a motion and a second to approve the proclamation of National Library Week for April 6th through the 12th? Michelle moves, Emily seconds. And again, this resolution resolves that we proclaim National Library Week. As was mentioned, and during this week, we encourage all residents to visit their library and celebrate the opportunities they unlock for us every day. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion to approve the proclamation passes unanimously. Next, is there a motion and a second to approve the request of the Frederickson Library to place temporary signs in borough parks?
So moved. Second.
Emily moves, Mercedes seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion to approve the request passes unanimously. Is there a motion and a second to accept a grant in the amount of $1,432 from the Harry and Nancy Price Siebert Park Fund?
So moved.
Second.
Emily moves, Michelle seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion to accept the grant passes unanimously. Next, is there a motion and a second to approve a modification of Section 179-26 to allow processing as a preliminary final subdivision plan for 725 Vista Drive?
So moved.
Second.
Tom moves, Michelle seconds. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion to approve the modification passes unanimously. Next, is there a motion and a second to approve the subdivision plan for 725 Vista Drive, conditioned upon satisfying any remaining comments in HRG's review letter dated March 13th, 2025, and the Cumberland County Planning Department's review letter dated November 26th, 2024?
Second.
Tom moves, Emily seconds. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Is there a motion and a second to approve a 30-day extension to satisfy the conditions of approval for the 510 South 31st Street Land Development Plan?
Oh, the only thing I wanted to note is the current deadline is May 8th, 2025. So the 30-day extension would extend the deadline to June 7th, 2025.
Okay. Is there a motion and a second? Tom moves, Michelle seconds. Is there any discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously to approve the 30-day extension, extending the deadline to June 7th, 2025. Next, is there a motion and a second to approve a settlement and release agreement with CA Hemp Estate Incorporated relating to sewer service overbilling at 3025 Market Street? Mercedes moves, Lisa seconds. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Next, is there a motion and a second to advertise an ordinance requiring the inspection of sump pumps at the time of property sale? Tom moves, Lisa seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. Is there a motion and a second to approve the advertisement of an ordinance to install a stop sign at the intersection of Columbia Avenue at Deanhurst Avenue?
Second.
Tom moves, Emily seconds. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion to advertise the ordinance passes unanimously. Is there a motion and a second to approve a stormwater operations and maintenance agreement for 119 North 15th Street?
Second.
Tom moves, Mercedes seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion to approve the O&M agreement passes unanimously. Next, is there a motion and a second to approve a stormwater operations and maintenance agreement for 1999 Dighton Street?
Second.
Tom moves, Emily seconds. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion to approve the O&M agreement passes unanimously. And then lastly, is there a motion and a second to appoint Josh Hooper to the Sustainability Committee for a term to expire December 31st, 2026?
So moved.
Tom moves, Mercedes seconds. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes unanimously. That brings us this evening to our final period of public comment. Is there anyone wishing to offer public comment? Yes? Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jessica Miller. I'm the director of the Frederickson Library. I'd just like to thank you for passing the proclamation tonight, as well as all the support that you provide us. I was thrilled to hear our name mentioned multiple times tonight's meeting, and we really do appreciate it. We were just finishing up our annual report for the state, and I wanted to let you know that we had about 700,000 items that were checked out last year. And that's not just Camp Hill residents, and that includes books, it includes ebooks, it includes downloadable audiobooks, it includes physical audiobooks. Anything that we have in the library that you can check out, that's included in that number. Camp Hill residents specifically, and this is just physical books for this particular number, checked out 85,000 items last year. So we were, very happy to be used that much. We also had about 40,000 people attend programs, which if you've been by our parking lot, I'm sure you've noticed. So yeah, it's a really, really great library, and we appreciate all of your support. Again, we have our program tomorrow at the Business and Career Center, so please, you feel free to stop by for that, as well as the upcoming Friends book sale, the 24th through the 27th. Our summer reading program is also coming up. We're kicking that off on June 5th, so we have a little bit of time. And typically we do the steel drum band, and this year we are instead doing the Maxwell Project. So it should be a nice change. They do sort of a 70s, 80s, 90s kind of mix. So, but it should be very family friendly, as well as food trucks and all the other fun things. We also have some other concerts planned, but I don't remember any of those dates right now. Something interesting that we do have coming up as well is we're starting to offer museum passes. So if you have any families in the borough that are interested in going to a museum, they can stop by the library, they can check out one of these museum passes, use it to take their family to the museum, bring the pass back, and then it's available for another library. So far we have these for the Whitaker Center, Lake Tobias Animal Park, the Susquehanna Art Museum, and Hershey Gardens, and we're still working on getting some others as well. So, does anyone have any questions? We have to contact each museum directly and let them know what we want to do. So it varies a little bit. Some of them allow 5 people, some of them it's just 4. But basically this specific pass, they come to the library, they check it out, and they take the pass with them to the museum, and it gets them free admission. If there's special events, it might not cover that, but it would allow them for free admission to go and explore the area, and then they just bring the pass back to the library, and it moves on to the next person. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That brings us to any closing remarks by council? No? Okay. We appreciate everyone who's joined us in person and anyone who has watched us online, and thank you to our staff for being here with us as well. Okay, and with that, there being no other business, we will adjourn.